everybody. I have decided this morning that I'm going to show you just a little bit about how I am blending with the Windsor and Newton blending and glazing medium, which is what you find me using probably 99% of the time in all my videos. And now there's been a little bit of controversy in some of the Facebook coloring groups with Gamsol versus the Windsor and Newton blending and glazing medium. And I will be honest with you guys, they virtually do the same thing. I've never denied that fact. The main number one reason I do not use Gamsol is because it gives me a major headache. Even though it is odorless, it gives me a bad headache, and it can be toxic if you're not in a well-ventilated area. So that's something to keep in mind. The Windsor and Newton blending and glazing medium has a tiny smell to it, but only if you stick it up under your nose. Otherwise, I don't notice it. So for this video, I'm just going to show you these three different techniques that I use and how it looks with the blending and glazing medium. So for this first set right here is I'm using 4 different blues: Indithrone blue, denim blue, true blue, and sky blue light. So what I do is I start off with, most of the time I do start off with my lighter colors and build up, but if you have a little bit of experience, then you can kind of get the feel of what you need to do. So then I'm going to come in with my denim, and I know it kind of looks like the same color, but you'll see the transition here in a minute. And then I come in with my true blue, like so, and my sky blue light. Now, one thing that you will notice with some of these lighter colors, sorry, I think I got shaky. Some of these lighter colors is they are a lot more waxy than your darker colors, especially the yellows. So in that case, when you're using one that you know is more waxy, I will oftentimes come in, let me show you. I keep my blending mediums in this little pump thing where you go like this, and then I just dip it like so. You will find that the lighter colors are waxier, so a lot of times I will come in and do that first, and then I'll pull the dark down with it. And if you notice that it's leaving some white marks, then you might just want to dip again, especially if you're just starting, because you want to get that good saturation in your paper stump so that it blends easier. Now, if you want to, if it, for whatever reason, doesn't seem dark enough at the top, you can come right back over it with a little bit more color. It dries pretty quick. I don't recommend using a fine liner on top of this until it is completely dry, because it will leave that oil on your fine liner and it just will stop working. So you can see how well that blends. Now, the second thing that I want to show you, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here. Okay, is that you don't always have to have multiple colors to get a blend or a fade, or however you want to call it. If I just use this one color, and this is where you're going to come in and always start off light for a base coat, like so, as light as you can get it down here, and then at the top come in with a medium to heavier stroke and just kind of fade it out. And you don't have to use a blending medium if you like the way it looks. It gives a little bit of texture. I oftentimes will just leave something I'm doing like this and not use the medium. But if I want to pull out that vibrant color, then I will use the blending medium. So that was one color. Now I'm going to come in with my blending medium, and again, a lot of times I'll start off down here just so I don't pull as much darkness into it or pigment into it, and then I will come up here and slowly bring it down. And you can lighten up your pressure if you want to, or you can, you know, keep it the same. Again, if you notice the white spots where the hills and valleys didn't get filled in, then you can just redip your paper stump and get a little bit more oil on there. And you see how I'm pulling this down to create the lighter tone at the bottom. Okay, so now I'm going to come in with these pinks that or purples that I think are beautiful. A lot of people always ask me about these colors, so I start off with the dark purple, then I come in with dahlia purple, mulberry, and deco pink. Now the deco pink is another one of those that's kind of waxy, so you're going to start off at the bottom. So I'm going to start with my dark purple. I'm going to come in with my dahlia purple. Let's come back in with that dark, because I know I'm going to want it darker at the top. I'm going to come in with my mulberry, which is more of a pinkish purple. And then my deco pink, which, like I said, is a lot more waxy. I hope you guys can see. That's another little trick. You can take those lighter colors over and blend them. So let's see. I'm going to start. Oh, see what I did there? I didn't clean my paper stump, which is not necessarily a disaster, because you can come back in with that lighter color and kind of push that pigment aside. Okay, so come in up here. Oh, that's such a beautiful blend. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So if you notice that any of your blending mediums ever pull up some of the color just slightly, then you can just come right back in with your color pencils. Ooh, let's see, and add a little more darkness to it. Okay, with that dahlia and that mulberry. See how easy this is? It's not difficult at all. So now I'm going to come in just for an example and show you guys again. This is my dark purple. I'm just using one color this time. I'm not using multiples. You don't always have to use multiples or darks, medium, lights, because you can get, with practice, you can get the same tone. You see how I'm lightening my pressure? Dark at the top, that's hard pressure. As I come down, I'm lightening to medium pressure, and then down here, very light pressure. Okay, let's see. Clean off your paper stuff. And you see how easy that is? There's no pressure to the hands at all. That blending medium, that oil is doing all the work. So versus the blender pencil and the burnishers, which all have their purpose. I'm not knocking them at all, but you do have to add quite a bit of pressure with those blending pencils sometimes, and it takes a longer time than the paper stump with the blending medium. See there? Okay, let's come in with that real pretty mulberry. It's one of my favorites. And you can find, if you have a hard time picking colors, you can go on Pinterest and find so many different color swatches and color combinations that look really pretty together. Which is what I did when I first started blending colors, because I had no idea what I was doing. So learning from other people eventually allows you to expand your skills. And it is skill. It's not necessarily always talent. Because this stuff you have to learn. It's not something that just comes natural. For me, anyways. I don't know about others. So, now I'm going to come in with these greens that you see over here and these yellows. They're really pretty. Oh no. I dropped the pencil. Anybody that knows anything about Prismacolors knows what that means. Oh. Okay, so for this one I'm going to start off with peacock green, grass green, let me see, I don't want to lie to you guys, apple green, then green, or chartreuse, and then yellow chartreuse. Now, the chartreuse and the yellow chartreuse, again, are a little waxier, so this one's going to be a little bit more tricky. I'm going to come in with my peacock, which is one of my favorite greens in the set. I'm going to come in with my grass green. Come in with my apple. My chartreuse, which is extremely waxy. And my yellow chartreuse, again, extremely waxy. Now, using the same techniques as the others with the waxier colors, I'm going to start off at the bottom so I don't pull a bunch of color on top of that like I just did at the bottom, because once again I forgot to clean my stump. I'll show you how to clean your stumps here in a second. Another reason that I highly recommend the kit is for the sandpaper block. A lot of people will use nail files, which is perfectly fine, but I will show you why I like the sandpaper block here in just a second. I come back in and make that a little darker. There you go on that one. Let's see, let's go with peacock. If this video helped you guys, don't forget to subscribe and pass it on. Share it with those people that you know just got their first set of Prismacolors, because these techniques are very important to help in the success of any softcore pencil, because your softcore pencils are not the same as your hardcore, such as Crayola, Crazy Art, you know, Stadler is a harder lead. Stuff that can be somewhat scratchy versus creamy. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys with the, what color did I use there? Apple green. The apple green's a little bit more waxy too. It's not as bad as the yellows, but you'll see here in a second. I don't know if you can tell, but you can kind of see some paper gradation a little bit when you try to smooth out the waxier colors. And this, I am just using computer paper. I'm not using cardstock or, you know, any of the nicer papers. You're going to get a better result with a nicer paper. Okay. See how it just kind of pushes the pigment to the side? That's what happens with your waxier ones. And it is harder to come back over. I mean, it's possible, but it is a little harder to You have to add a lot more pressure to come back over. There you go. So let me back that up and you can see the full picture there. So, okay, let me show you how to clean your paper stumps. I'm just gonna use this. Like, you're first gonna start off, you know, while it's still wet, and just get as much off as you can, like that. Now this is my paper block, and I always recommend the paper stump kit by Art Alternative because these are so much sturdier and heavy and thick and less like cotton. And a lot of your cheaper brands are like cotton or Q-tips, and you know, you dip it in your thing and it expands, and when you try to sharpen it, it just shreds. It's just not very good stuff. The Art Alternatives are really good, and I'll put a link in the description box to the kit that I recommend for starters. But this sandpaper block is different than your average nail file, or, you know, trying to find, you know, have 10 different pieces of sandpaper around. It's designed to sharpen your, or to clean your paper stumps and keep them at a point. So what you're going to do is when you get, you know, a buildup on your paper stump, is you just come in like, just like that, and clean that off, and kind of twist it as you're doing it, and you'll keep a nice little point on the end of that. So on this end, I've got my blue. You can see all that color coming off there. And you have no more color coming off on that. So nice point on both ends, color gone, so you can reuse it with something else. I still recommend, you know, when you first dip it, to kind of come back and just make sure. But now this is why I love this stump. I can still use this. There's a lot of use on this one. This is for video purposes only that I'm wasting this sheet. There's still a whole lot of room on there, but it's not just one piece of sandpaper. Once you use that piece up, you come in and you can tear that off, and you have a brand new piece of sandpaper underneath your block. And there's a lot of paper on there. It's not just a couple pieces. I've been using this one for probably 6 months or so. So now you see why I really like it. And it's easy to travel with. If you're going to a friend's house or on vacation, you just stick it in there. You don't have to worry about finding it, or a teenage daughter picking up your nail file and walking off with it, kind of thing. So I hope this video helped you guys. If it did, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section. We do have a Facebook group that you can join. I'll put a link down in the description box for that as well. And I really enjoyed this, and I enjoy you guys, so I'll talk to you later.